every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. In our major stories, groups clash at the All Progressives Congress Secretariat in Abuja over who replaces late Abubakar Audu. All Progressives Congress in Kogi State throws weight behind James Faleke to replace late Abubakar Audu. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says federal government is focused on implementing the Niger Delta Master Plan. And outside Nigeria, Pope Francis advocates for peace between Christians and Muslims in Central African Republic. Thank you for joining us tonight. Supporters of Yaya Bello, who was reportedly chosen to replace the late Prince Abubakar Audu in this weekend's supplementary election in Kogi State, and those of James Abiodun Faleke, reportedly clashed at the APC National Secretariat just as the party was about to begin a meeting with stakeholders in the state to announce their choice. Correspondent Basila Kafo has details in this report presented from our studios.
I see somebody, they don't sit somebody down there. See, I'm there.
Tension had built up early in the morning, with party supporters streaming into the street, housing the National Secretariat. But the police were not prepared to take chances and were quick to put up roadblock to check influx into the largely residential area. Forced to arrive with the party's national leaders, one after the other, they came in for the Make Omar meeting. Soon the crowd moved close to the party office and were kept some meters away from the gate. But not quite long after one of the contenders, Yaya Bello, came on the scene that the first stone was hurled. People believed to be supporters of the Audu Faleke group had assumed that the man known as Fair Plus was at the party office to be declared APC's choice for Saturday's supplementary election. This led to a clash between them and Bello supporters, with security operatives having a hectic time wading in. Not even the arrival of James Faleke could calm the frayed nerves, as the combined security team struggled to keep rival party supporters apart. All this happened outside as APC leaders continued to brainstorm over the way out of the logjam that was created by the death of the party's governorship candidate, Abubakar Audu, on the day of the election.
Reports just reaching us from the national headquarters of the All Progressives Congress indicates that Yaya Bello has been recommended to the Independent National Electoral Commission as its candidate for the supplementary governorship election in Kogi State scheduled for December 5. A formal statement from the APC headquarters is still being awaited. Now let's now join our correspondent Basile Kafo to give us more update on the developments. Hello, Basil, are you there?
Hello, okay, I can hear you.
Now, can you confirm?
We are right now at the headquarters of APC in Abuja.
Okay.
And, the latest now is that the runner of the primary that produced the late Alpha Yahaya Bello.
Guess we lost Basile Kafo there, but we'll sure go back to him. The All Progressives Congress in Kogi State on Monday threw the word behind the runner-mate to the late Prince Abubakar Aldo, the party's candidate in the November 21 governorship election in the state. Abiodun Falike, in this quest for recognition as his principal replacement and governor-elect, Aldo died a few hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) declared the November 21 poll inconclusive. The commission later fixed December 5 for a supplementary poll in 91 units across 19 local government areas in the state. Addressing hundreds of party supporters at the government's reservation area, local residents of its Lake flag bearer, the APC leaders led by former Minister of Police Affairs, Humphrey Arba, denounced the members of the party's National Working Committee over what they described as attempts to bring in a candidate through the back door. They called on the national leadership of the party to do the needful by immediately naming Falike as the Kogi APC candidate and the eldest son of the late Aldo, Mohammed, as his deputy. Hello, our correspondent Basile Kafo has joined us right now. Can you confirm the recommendation of Yaya Bello as a substantive flag bearer of the APC for the forthcoming supplementary election on Saturday?
The network is very, very bad.
Okay. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo said the federal government is focused on implementation of the Niger Delta Master Plan to drive development of the region. Osinbajo stated this at the inaugural meeting of Partners for Sustainable Development Forum organized by Niger Delta Development Commission in Port Harcourt. He said President Muhammadu Buhari had also expressed concern for current degradation of the environment with a view to addressing challenges faced by the region. According to him, Niger Delta remains a priority of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led APC government with a view to attending to current devastation and environmental degradation in the region. He added that the federal government will give NDDC all necessary assistance and support to achieve its mandate of ensuring rapid and sustainable development of the region. The federal government is concerned that half of the country's rural population may move to urban centers by 2015. It is therefore prepared to take a bold step to stem the massive rural to urban drift in the country. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Aldowe, gave the hint while receiving a delegation of the World Bank Group in Abuja.
We don't really need to fund only the large-scale producers, but family holdings in the villages, because that takes us to the other responsibility this ministry has of rural development and reducing poverty. If you go around our villages, and one is lucky that politics allows you to see a lot of things which ordinarily you may not get involved in when you go home. And these poor women in the village, who are usually the biggest victims of poverty in any society, because their children go to them and cry when they have no food to eat. We need to create a few rural efforts, small rice mills, small vegetable oil mills, cassava processing around the villages to help create activity for them to be able to feed their children.
The World Bank Group has a very long-standing relationship with Nigeria, and we have an extensive program already under implementation in the agriculture sector, which with a value of more than $650 million, of which about $212 million is remain to be dispersed. We want the purpose of this meeting is Your Excellency to congratulate you once more, to reassure you of the strong partnership of the World Bank Group with your ministry under your leadership, to hear your views as to where do you want the World Bank to help you in your effort of diversifying the revenues, but making agriculture as the cornerstone of the Nigerian economy.
Information Minister Lai Mohammed is seeking the cooperation of private broadcast media owners in northern Nigeria in the quest for peace in the region. The minister made a case for support while playing host to the Northern Broadcaster Owners Association of Nigeria in Abuja. The media owners, for their part, want the government to look into the issue of high rates charged by paid television operators to put local channels on their satellite platforms.
The media cannot and must not sit on the fence as far as the issue of our unity is concerned. I intend to leverage on your visit today to take that message further by appealing to all private broadcast media owners in the country not to allow their platforms to be used to propagate ideas that can hinder national unity. It is important for the private broadcast media owners to avoid the temptations to use their platforms or for their platforms to be hijacked to promote ethnic or religious agenda that are inimical to the emergence of a strong, peaceful, united, and developed Nigeria.
On the pay TV channel fees, the government should look into discrepancies between the fees paid by the local and foreign content providers for channel acquisitions on the DTT platforms. While local content providers like us pay the sum of 30 million naira, in some of the platforms is even higher than that, in addition to the sum of 10 million naira approval fees which the NPC collect from us. Why, sir, the foreign content providers are required to pay only a paltry sum of 50,000 naira to operate in Nigeria? I think that is most unfair. It's killing the local content market.
Justice Darius Kobo of the Kaduna State High Court sitting in Kaduna on Monday threatened to revoke the bail granted to Mohammed Sodangi, an accused person standing trial in 13 counts of impersonation and stealing over the continued absence of his counsel Jafar Abbas in court. Sodangi was arraigned in May 2014 by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for allegedly defrauding the Kaduna State government of 66 million naira by abusing his position as pension consultant to the state government to smuggle his name into the pension payroll. The EFCC has so far presented 4 and was set to present its last 2 witnesses on Monday, but for the absence of the defense counsel, reminding the accused the criminal trials are supposed to be conducted expeditiously. The judge adjourned the matter to January 19, 2016. Senator representing Lagos West Senatorial District, Senator Solomon Adiola, has commended the Lagos State Governor Wakilmi Ambode for the huge investment in provision of security in Lagos State, as only a secure environment is conducive to economic and social development. Reacting to the recently commissioned security gadgets by the governor of the state, Senator Adiola stated that the status of Lagos State as a mega city makes it imperative that its security must receive special attention from all tiers of government. He added there is need for the federal government to further complement the efforts of Ambode in provision of security in view of the status of the state as the former federal capital and the economic nerve center of the nation. Senator Diola says the level of criminality in Lagos State is not radically different from that of any other state, adding that the seemingly high incidence is a reflection of the huge population of the state. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a quick break. I'll be back on my stories. Please join us again.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Also, some people will strong for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's just about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
If you're just joining us, this is still CoreTV Primetime News. A quick reminder of the major stories. Groups clash at the APC Secretariat in Abuja over who replaces late Abubakar Audu. All Progressives Congress in Kogi State throws weight behind James Falake to replace late Abubakar Audu. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says federal government is focused on implementing the Niger Delta Master Plan. For more on the news and other programs, please visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. Also visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News can now confirm authoritatively our earlier story that Yaya Bello has been confirmed as the governorship candidate of the APC in the supplementary election scheduled for December 5. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, it has confirmed receiving a request by the All Progressives Congress to replace the late Abubakar Audu's name with that of Alhaji Yaya Bello for the supplementary governorship election in Kogi State. The confirmation by INEC showed that the APC has settled for Bello as late Audu's replacement for Saturday's poll. The receipt of the request was confirmed by INEC's Deputy Director in charge of publicity, Nick Dagan. He said, and I quote, they have sent the name of their replacement candidate, the second runner-up in their primaries, that is Yaya Bello, to the commission. He, however, failed to disclose when the request was made. Dazang assured the people of Kogi that the commission was fully prepared to conduct the Kogi supplementary election and Bayelsa governorship elections on Saturday. He added that the commission is committed to conduct the two elections at the same time. The leader and founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations, T.B. Joshua, and two contractors have failed to appear in court before Justice Lawal Akakpo to face trial for criminal negligence over a church building collapse that killed 116 worshippers in 2014. His failure to appear has, however, prompted the judge to adjourn the case till Friday, December 14. Our correspondent Suriya Kawal roved on the streets samples the opinion of the Gaussians on the issue.
The case at the Lagos High Court is a sequel to a coroner's ruling in July 2015 that blamed T.B. Joshua and two engineers for the September 12, 2014 tragedy, which killed 116 persons and several others injured. The coroner had attributed the collapse to structural failures and said the church, its owner, should be prosecuted along with the engineers, as the 6-story guest house did not have planning permission. But the founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCOAN, T.B. Joshua, on the other hand, maintains the collapse was either caused by a mysterious hovering aircraft seen over the building beforehand or a controlled explosion. In court on Monday, Joshua was again absent, as were the two engineers who have called the coroner's verdict unreasonable, one-sided, and biased. With 5 defendants present, 3 said they have not been served with court summons. These Nigerians have mixed reactions on this case. Some think that the collapse is not T.B. Joshua's fault, as there have been cases of building collapse in Lagos with less attention paid.
He didn't build the building by himself. You know, he must have employed the services of some experts to do the job. So for the fact that the building collapsed, the engineers should have the case to answer.
But others disagree, putting the blame squarely on the shoulders of the founder.
Nobody is above the law. Normally, supposed to appear, whatever be the case. And I don't know what the proceedings has been so far, but the fact that he hasn't appeared in person is not a very good idea from him as a man of God so-called. So whoever you are not above the law, and you are meant to appear before the court.
Fine, out of court, he ought to appear in court. At least let him know that let people understand that, or have a feeling that he's concerned about what happened.
Judge Lawal Akakpo expressed displeasure at the defendant's absence and said he would not tolerate any unnecessary delays of the trial. It states that it appears the defendants are not mindful that this is a criminal proceeding and trial, and a sensitive matter like this one should be given accelerated hearing. Meanwhile, the judge has directed the defense team to provide the court with the engineers' addresses within 72 hours and adjourned the case until Friday, December 11, 2015. Sarah Ayeku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello has directed government officials to ensure that the nation's capital city is well lit at night. This was after he undertook a late-night tour of Abuja at the weekend to assess the broken-down street lights around the city. The minister's spokesman, Abubakar Sani, says in a statement that his principal expressed dissatisfaction with some of the reasons given for the non-functional street lights. He was quoted as saying that the city was much brighter in the past, while noting that lighting up the city is as paramount as keeping it secure and clean. The minister urged the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council and Federal Capital Development Authority to immediately liaise with the FCT Permanent Secretary, Babatokpe Ajakaye, to restore all the streetlights across the city. Earlier, the AMMC acting coordinator Safia Omar told the minister that inadequate budget is the reason for the poor maintenance of the streetlights in Abuja. The police authorities have warned Nigerians to be wary of gift wrap bombs during the festive season. Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase issued this warning in a statement issued on his behalf by the Force Public Relations Officer Olabisi Kolawole. He's advising against receiving gifts from unknown persons, posing as friends in order to avoid explosive-laden hampers. IG Arase also cautioned against the use of fireworks, such as knockouts, otherwise known as bangers, and other explosives in the celebrations, on the ground that it could cause distraction that may further heighten fear of insecurity. He has meanwhile directed all zonal AIGs and command commissioners of police to take necessary measures to provide adequate security for worshippers, travelers, picnickers and all citizens across the country before, during and after the celebration. Workers of the Industrial Trading Fund nationwide on Monday began a 3-day warning strike over alleged financial mismanagement by the management of the fund. The workers under the aegis of the Senior Staff Association of Communications, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations and Civil Service, as well as the various unions in the ITF, also accused the management of poor welfare issues. Our Plateau State correspondent has details. We'll bring you details of that report in the subsequent bulletins. Residents of Imo State have continued to lament the deteriorating nature of its health sector. They hope the government of the day will look inward and provide lasting solution. Some of the residents who spoke to CoreTV News said the sector suffers huge neglect from the government. Correspondent has more in this report.
A visit to some health centers in the state shows health workers paying little attention to their duties. While some of them attribute the menace to lack of necessary facilities, others see it as decay in the system.
The only thing is that they need more improvement in those sectors, such as putting up both equipment and those working there to put more effort in their duties.
It's unfortunate that the past administrations has not neglected the health sector. Or you find a situation where the buildings are dilapidated, there is no health workers per se. You come to a health center, you won't find even the simple analgesics, probably paracetamol.
The health sector has not been doing very well, because if you visit most of the health centers, you can see some buildings, collapsed buildings. You can't even see workers. Those you see, careless even to perform their duties. And if you ask for anything, they say they have no drugs, they have nothing to go ahead.
The area I want to talk about is the workforce. The workforce of health sector in Imo State has reduced drastically. With the recent retirement of health workers in Imo State, I don't know how the future people will see it, understand, or feel the impact of health in the health sector in Imo State.
The state government also admits that the state health sector is nothing to write home about.
The situation in our health sector has become so terrible, so bad, that it calls for urgent action, which must be taken. The ordinary person sick in the hospital, they receive medical attention.
While a new management sets to take over the state-owned facilities, the people cannot but wonder if there will be any change.
Workers of the Industrial Training Fund nationwide on Monday began a 3-day warning strike over alleged financial mismanagement by the management of the fund. The workers under the aegis of the Senior Staff Association of Communications, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations and Civil Service, as well as the various unions in the ITF, also accused the management of poor welfare issues. Our Plateau State correspondent has details. Workers of the Industrial Training Fund nationwide on Monday began a 3-day warning strike over alleged financial mismanagement by the fund. The workers under the aegis of the Senior Staff Association of Communications, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporations and Civil Service, as well as the various unions in the ITF, also accused the management of poor welfare.
Account our various PFAs, and such thing has not been done for the past 6 months. Now, with employed staff, I want to tell you that this staff, they've stayed almost virtually 8 to 9 months without being paid per run. They've not gotten their salaries. What is the problem? Staff were transferred virtually 6 months now, and none of them have gotten their transfer allowances. These are all issues. So that is why we put it before them. After all the negotiations, we expected them to work on it. They refused. And there are allegations also of misappropriation of funds, allegations of corruptions in ITF, which we are saying that the DG must go.
The president of the Senior Staff Association of Communications, Kayode Alakija, alleged that ITF's Director General, Juliet Chuka, had turned the organization into a private business.
A circular from the federal government stating that there should be no overseas training, and if there's going to be any overseas training, approval should come from head of service. The DG Industrial Training Fund has collected 20.3 million naira to travel to 7 different countries within this year, and she only visited 2. And we are saying, return our money. This is our fund. These are the demands of the workers, and we are not ready to negotiate with her. All we are saying, we are calling on the president. We know our president to be a man of integrity. Yes. We know him to be a man of impeccable character. Yes. And we are calling on him. He should not allow anybody to rubbish his government. Yes. This is the era of change. Yes. Juliet is not fit to lead industrial training.
Responding to the allegations, the Director of Public Relations, Ithomo Ahezua, says all salaries had been paid and blamed delays in other payments on the Treasury single account policy by the federal government. She expresses the management's readiness to dialogue with the workers and advise them against taking laws into their hands.
Let them hear their own version. So that's just the much I want to say now. The management of ITF is on top of it. We want peace to reign. ITF is a federal parastatal. We are touching the lives of youths, both here in Jos and outside Jos. And this thing they have just done now has distorted the activities of ITF. And I pray that in a very short while, we will all get together in a round table, discuss as colleagues.
It is expected that those in authority will step in to save the situation. We'll take another quick break. I'll be back with stories from business outside Nigeria and the world of sports. Please join us again.
The man on the streets have come to realize that the power to make decisions lies in the hands of the people. I don't think there is.
5 local government out of the 32 local government is more than many states in the north. The economy is booming. Where is the economy booming? Blast in Abuja. Don't you have security? Why are we fighting? The country should not just sit in Abuja or in Asokoro or wherever it is. States are supposed to be local. They know they cannot be there and be here at the same time.
Life of the citizens, community need to be protected.
It can't work out.
Bring the message of peace. Let there be proper devolution of power from the center. The center is too powerful.
It's time to do the best. But people are hasting. Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting? Why are you hasting? Why let's cut you come?
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
The Republic of Ireland is seeking partnership with Nigeria in the area of agricultural technology. Irish Agricultural Minister Simeon Conveni made this known during a courtesy call with his Nigerian counterpart, Aldogbe. He says it would create employment for unemployed youth. convening said Ireland was ready to share the technological progress made in several agricultural sectors with Nigeria in order to create employment for the population. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has filed a 13-count charge against Bartimeo Ojo and foreigners for alleged forgery and impersonating the staff of the agency. The suspects were accused of forging companies' income tax clearance certificates of FIRS with the intention of using it to clear their company and release Auto Garage Limited. The accused persons were brought to court but were not arraigned. According to the charge sheet, the offence is punishable under Section 516 of the Criminal Code Act of 2010. No date has been fixed yet for proper arraignment and hearing on the matter. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says the nation's foreign reserves has fallen to $30.04 billion as of November 26. The bank disclosed this on its website on Monday, adding that the figure dropped by $7 million from $30.11 billion recorded in October 26. It says the $30.04 billion represented the gross amount. $29.33 billion was liquid, while $719.32 million was blocked. According to the Apex Bank, the continuous pressure in the foreign exchange market is due to the rise in internal demand for dollars. Also, the CBN says that the price of crude oil at the international market stood at $44.27 per barrel as of November 30. The World Bank Urban Development and Resilience Specialist Salam Rouhana has said the bank would provide necessary support for the government of Oyo State in the area of waste management and recycling. Rouhana, who represented the bank at the Investors Roundtable held at the Kafana Hune and Conference Center, Ibadan, says the bank would provide technical support and bring in relevant firms to drive the project. According to the partnership with the World Apex Financial Institution, private sector will be involved in the generation of the waste, transportation, disposal, and regeneration to earn huge income. The General Manager of Oyo State Waste Management Authority, Joseph Alagbe, representing the state governments, says the project has the target of providing employment, generating electricity, producing biogas, compost fertilizer, and other byproducts from the waste generated with the help of the bank and private investors. For stories outside Nigeria, Pope Francis has told worshippers in a mosque in the Central African Republic that Christians and Muslims are brothers and sisters. He was speaking to Muslims who had sought shelter in the capital Bangui after nearly 3 years of violence between Christians and Muslims. The mosque visit was seen as perhaps the most difficult part of his African tour. Pope Francis then held the final mass of his African trip in Bangui. More than 100,000 Muslims left the capital as a result of the fighting, but 15,000 left in an area called PK5, according to the campaign group's Human Rights Watch. Two 17-year-old Israelis have been convicted of the murder of Palestinian youth Mohammed Abu Qadir, abducted and burned to death in Jerusalem in 2014. A verdict on a third defendant, a 31-year-old Israeli man, was postponed for mental health review. Mohammed Abdul Qadir, 16, was killed in apparent revenge for the murders of 3 Israeli teens in the West Bank. The killings are part of an escalating cycle of violence culminating in a war between Israel and militants in Gaza. Turkish Premier Ahmet Davutoglu has said Turkey will not apologize for downing a Russian fighter jet on the Syrian border, but Moscow should reconsider retaliatory sanctions as he held talks at NATO headquarters. According to him, the protection of Turkish airspace is not only a right, but a duty for his government, and no Turkish premier or president will apologize for doing his duty. Davutoglu ordered that he hopes Russia will reconsider the measures in both countries' interests, referring to the sanctions that Moscow imposed after the shooting down of the jet last week. Davutoglu was speaking as the Kremlin said Russian President Vladimir Putin had rejected an invitation to meet his Turkish counterpart, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on the sidelines of the Paris Global Climate Conference. And in sport,
our style, that's what he delivered. Usain Bolt storming through, he takes Puyol with a flying lead.
Bo taking them out in the lead.
Barcelona pair Lionel Messi and Neymar have been listed on the shortlist for FIFA's prestigious Ballon d'Or, along with double reigning title holder Cristiano Ronaldo of Real Madrid. While Portuguese Ronaldo has triumphed over the last 2 seasons in a total of 3 wins, Argentinian Messi has previously claimed the coveted award 4 times, while Brazilian Neymar makes the shortlist for FIFA's Player of the Year award for the first time. Trainer Peter Fury is insisting Tyson Fury's world title victory over Vladimir Klitschko is the greatest since Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston in 1964. The 27-year-old outpointed Klitschko in Desert Dot to become the WBA, IBF and WBO heavyweight champion of the world. The Manchester fighter claimed his victory was not a shock for him. Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius, upset Sonny Liston in February 1964. The overwhelming favorite retiring his stool after the 6th round. Ukrainian Klitschko went into Saturday's contest having won 65 out of 68 professional fights and unbeaten since 2004. But it was outboxed over 12 rounds by Fury, who was awarded the fight and a unanimous verdict to become Britain's 5th bona fide heavyweight world champion after Bob Fitzsimmons, Lennox Lewis, Frank Bruno and David Hale. But that's it a wrap on CoreTV Primetime News. But before we go, a quick reminder of the major stories. Groups clash at the All Progressives Congress Secretariat in Abuja over who replaces late Abubakar Aldo. All Progressives Congress in Kogi State throws word behind James Falike to replace late Abubakar Aldo. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says federal government is focused on implementing the Niger Delta Master Plan. Thank you very much for staying through with us. I am Olajumoke Olatuji.